you've always dreamed, and it's
It's
beyond
in and out
Medicare
for us right now.
insurance. You, the confident life to the fullest. We listen about us.
Is it bad?
So
I mean,
give us
for
a call at
hearing us?
800 or find an agent. Mutual of Omaha.
Yeah, I mean we don't have anything in the can, right?
By listening. Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company and its affiliates, Omaha, Nebraska.
Nowadays, it seems like people believe they can do everything themselves. But while it's cool to do some things on your own, when it comes to the health of your teeth and gums,
it got a little bit better
the do-it-yourself approach can leave you with very little to smile about. Trying to close a gap or straighten your teeth yourself can increase the risk of infection and serious damage to your teeth and gums, including tooth loss. Replacing lost teeth is expensive, and a person may require multiple replacements over the course of a lifetime. The American Association of Orthodontists wants everyone to know that moving teeth is a healthcare procedure. It needs the personal supervision of an expert. Orthodontists are experts in moving teeth and aligning jaws. They have 2 to 3 years of specialized education beyond dental school in an accredited orthodontic residency program.
No, seriously.
Your smile deserves a special. Orthodontists are the specialists who will make sure that your own smile is your best smile. For more, visit mylifemysmile.org.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. That's located at 999 Bethel Road. I'm your host, Eric, along with my father, Phil. Can you hear me, Papa?
Oh, I can hear you.
You know what?
Well, you don't wake me up here. Come on.
We hopefully we are without issues today. Although I'm not confident. I don't know what. I think everything is together. Technology seems to get in the way. Hopefully Emily doesn't mess it up this week. Did I say that out loud? Are we on? Emily, are you there?
Yeah, ever since she got married, you know. Ever since she got. I mean,
you know what? It has been.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of a coincidence?
Yeah, ever since she got married, things don't seem to be the same here on our side. But we're going to go with it today because we have confidence in her. Of course, she's texting me right now.
She's going to turn us off big time. You better look out.
Just wait till she steps away to use the restroom. I hope they have the button over there. So, guys, last week, what an interview with Andrew Pollock. I mean, I know we had some technical difficulties there, but what an amazing story he has to say, and it's just breathtaking to hear him talk and to talk firsthand about his daughter who died at Parkland, and so to have him on was an honor and definitely humbling. So,
yeah, I mean what he had to say, and again, the book that it just came out in September, but. It's just not localized to Florida. This pertains to the United States because I was just shocked to learn that the policies that allowed this to happen in Florida school, in that one Parkland school, said that 42% of the schools in the United States of America have adopted that Promise Program policy. 42%. That's what shocked me more than anything. So that just leads up to the fact that it looks like this could happen. It's horrible. So,
wow, and that
You're all looking for the truth. You'll see.
Yep.
The truth. Glenn will show it to you. Blood will shoot out of your eyes.
Coming soon. And check out hundreds of thousands of the best podcasts right in the palm of your hand on our iHeartRadio app.
Blueby Hearing Services. You'll hear what you've been missing.
The latest headlines and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 610, WTVN.
Guys, you know what? I am glad. Sometimes you get paid with all these commercials and stuff, and so we're only going to talk for a minute, and then we're just going to go to break, and then talk for a minute, and have like another 10-minute break.
It's just crazy. I just don't
it is, and this is.
We apologize, but there's just nothing. It seems to be out of our control. But
it is. It is a call to Spectrum Monday morning is probably going to happen, but nonetheless, we are today. Today on the show, I'm super excited, guys. It's one of my favorite shows of the year, and this is one where we pride ourselves on being fact-based, and being fact-based and an emotion-based discussion is not always popular. And so today we're going to look at the latest 2018 FBI Uniform Crime Report. If it wasn't so sad, it's kind of it was kind of encouraging because the crime went down.
Yeah, the crime keeps going down. It seems to be statistically happening, and I don't know why the left, who wants to disarm all of America, it seems, doesn't take a look. I mean, if the facts are out there, they don't want to talk about the facts because the facts just show that where this is heading, which year after year seems to go down and down and down as far as firearms deaths. And
you know what, with any practical discussion of anything in life, you need to know the facts before you can tackle the problem.
Exactly.
And today we're going to outline the facts. And like you said, JC, the left, the other side doesn't want to talk about that, and so you wonder if they don't want to genuine.
They don't want to tackle the problem. They want to get elected. That's it.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. So that's what we're going to be doing at 12:30 today. Before that, at 12:20, 12:20, Popo has the gun of the week.
I've got many guns here.
I've already been put on notice.
Many guns.
Actually, the gun of the week that I know about is actually good.
Yeah.
But I kind of caught wind here of this might go someplace else.
There was a segment a couple years back where I was talking about my pet peeves, and it didn't have to do with firearms. It was just anything. Well, this is along those lines of my pet peeves.
So we're getting a little bit more than gun of the week. We're getting that and pet peeves. And I was just informed because of the technical difficulties at the top of the hour, we paid our dues. We're running to 12:30 right now.
All right.
So you're not going to have that minute to prepare before.
This may not be politically correct. I'm tired of back, but we're just going to have to do it.
But you will be on target.
I will be on target.
All right.
There you go. We'd like to thank our sponsors: Rampart Hosting, Toyota West, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows, The Trigger Group, Blackwing Shooting Center, River's Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, which I've spent a lot of time this last couple weeks there. They're doing, we're partnering with them on some really, really neat things.
And what incredible engraving they do.
Incredible.
Incredible.
And, of course, LEPD Training Facility, all who make the show possible each week. Joining me today in the LEPD studios, JC from the sales team. JC, okay, I'm going to try to tiptoe around this a little bit.
All right.
We had a VIP in the store today.
Yes.
And he was fantastic to meet. He's if I had to describe him, I would say he's a very outspoken supporter of the president and someone who might actually be the face of the administration if they have to face impeachment. And he stopped by to say hi. Had been on the show before. He stopped by to shoot with the kids and to take in a game today and stuff. So we're going to respect his privacy. But let me tell you, well, if you come in here and you look on the wall enough, you might be able to pick out who it was.
Yeah, but for our VIPs, we do put a target on the wall,
right.
And we've had some great folks coming in here doing that.
So. I am going to rib him a little bit because the kid shot a little bit better than him, and so there was discussion about putting the kid's target on the wall or having the kids shooting him sign it. But what a fantastic person and stuff. It was great to finally meet him in person. Pawpaw sits to my left. Pawpaw, from here on out, if it's not too much, I would like to be referred to as the professor. Is that okay?
The professor?
The professor.
And why is that, Eric?
Well, I mean, as you may or may not know, that I taught some classes on Monday up at Kent State.
Did you teach them or did you speak at them?
Huh? Well, I mean, you're speaking at them.
Yeah. Did your professors teach you, or did they speak at you? I mean, I think that's kind of
okay. Well, that's fine. You know, you can give yourself
the imparted knowledge.
You can give yourself the accolades that you think you deserve. I did the same thing you did years ago at OSU to a class. I got applauded after the class was over.
Was it because like,
class
oh,
was
wow.
now over?
Yes, it's over.
Yeah.
No, actually, this was neat. It was a wonderful opportunity to go up there. I got the opportunity to speak to 2 different classes. Both were an hour and some minute long. One was kind of a political. I don't want to say a political radicalism class, but it was something to that nature. And so we talked about firearms, and we got everyone on the same page about the discussions today that's being done out there and what's false about what people are saying and what's the facts. And it was great. They were very well received. And then the next class had to do with first responders and the way they handle crisis. The neat thing about it is at the university, and we're talking about guns, which is kind of neat, but the professor himself is going to be on our show next week.
All right.
To talk about
Excellent.
about how college kids these days, their perception of firearms is when they walk into his classroom. So it was neat. That's
going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting because of what they hear on the news and what they're taught
in schools.
Yep. Yeah. I will tell you, the professor is outspoken. He is a pro Second Amendment person, and he's a professor at the collegiate level. So you don't get to check all those boxes very often.
Yeah. Is he tenured? Because if not, he better disguise his name.
Can you turn up my volume a little bit, Eric? Testing one.
How's that?
That's great. Okay.
Usually you do testing before the show.
I would.
But that's okay. If you miss a show, you can always catch our podcast. It's at 610WTVN.com. We're on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and now Google Podcast. That's where I listen to it every week. I listen to it back in the gym. That's what you guys do too, right? You listen to the show back?
In the gym? Yeah. Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially in the gym.
In the gym, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're also out there on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. You can watch it. You can see everything firsthand. Some things you can't unsee.
Yeah.
But it's out there for you to see later on, too, if you miss it.
See, I don't have to do that because my wife listens to it, and then she critiques me when I get home.
Really?
So, I get the Deb Grill going, why did you say that? And you said,
see, my mom always texts me and says great show.
That's a nice mom. Yeah.
Yep. So I know I always got that one coming. And we're also actually, guys, if OnTarget at lepd.com is a great place to send us an email. Because then we look at those, we take your advices for gun of the week, for topics, and everything else. So we'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from you during the show, too. 614-821-9886 is the number. Last couple of weeks we haven't been able to take callers because we've had so much content
going on.
Today, hopefully, we can take some callers. What are you looking at now, Pablo?
Did we reset our clock up there?
No problem.
I didn't think so.
No. Or else the show's over. We're talking to ourselves.
Last time, it took us like 6 months to reset it.
It's good half the year.
Yeah.
So, JC, in the news, there's all kinds of stuff. I know we kind of blew it out last week. A couple of things that are out there and important today.
All right. Well, one of the things, and the way that the Democrat, and there's just no way of hiding it. I mean, it just seems that to be a Democrat, you have to sign a pledge that you want to disarm America. That's just the way it seems with all the candidates running. No one seems to even to be reasonable about stuff. But, and maybe because of that stance, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System for the month of October was just released. And guess what? Gun sales are up 10%, a little over 10%. In October. So, and these are adjusted figures. Adjusted figures means they throw out the ones where people are just renewing their permits and have to have a background check for that, those sorts of things. These are actually adjusted for gun purchases. And the National Shooting Sports Foundation says that in October, over 1.1 million new firearms were, well, I say new, but were released. Well, it could be used too, but were released into the into the public. So over 1 million firearms in the month of October. So now take a look at this. Now, 15 years ago, this is back when we know what the election was going on back then. This month's figure was 49% higher than it was just
really?
when the Democrats first took control. So there's a lot of that. And the reason we talk about this all the time, and I just hope that you folks out there will spread the word. I mean, the Centers for Disease Control. So this is supposed to be apolitical, but it's been often used by the left. They still had to admit that in a 3-year study that between 1 and 2 million times a year, it's a large area there, but at least over 1 million times a year, a firearm is used by a citizen to protect their life, the life of their family, or property. You know how you can't use it to protect property, but in some states you can. So
what's the number? How many times did you see?
Over 1 million times. And actually, when they first came out with it, the CDC said that was 2.3 million times per year. They have now, I don't know what kind of pressure, what they've done, but now they have kind of looked at their figures again and come up with a new figure, but it's still over 1 million times a year. Divide that by 365, and this is in the United States where firearm has been used. And to demonstrate that, here they want to take away your ARs. I mean, for some reason, that's become the symbol, even though when we talk about the number of rifle murders coming up. But here's a victim. This just happened this week in Florida. The victim, they said the Democrats are quiet as a pregnant mom saves the family with an AR-15. 2 masked gunmen broke into a house in a home invasion, grabbed an 11-year-old girl, put a gun to her head. I don't know if it was mistaken where they went in. The guy said, "Hey, I don't know any of these people. I have no idea why they did this." They pistol whipped him so severely. I mean, they broke his eye socket, split his head. He had to have 20 stitches in his face. They kicked him in the head, stomach, and everything, trying to get money. That's what they were looking for. His 8-month pregnant wife was upstairs, peered around the corner. They shot at her. And now they pointed and shot at her. She retreated, got the family's AR-15, came back, and couldn't have used a shotgun because they had the husband, they had the girl. She had the AR. She took a shot and hit one. He ran out of the house, made it 200 feet, and died right there when the police came and found him.
Beautiful.
And he just said, look, he goes, if it wasn't for this AR, why? They're light, they're accurate, anybody can use them. And if it wasn't for that, he said, I would have been dead.
Now she only shot once? I mean, we know that they carry 100-round magazines for those.
Well, she
200,
shot,
300
she
rounds.
shot once and hit the target. He ran away. The other person ran and was not found. But the husband just said, these guys came in with pistols, and my age stopped it. My wife kept them from killing me, and also his daughter, who they had, who didn't know what they were going to do with her. But as somebody else put this, it's like, hey, a gun in the hand is better than a cop on the phone. I like that line.
That's good. I like that.
The response time for a bullet from an AR-15 is faster than a call to 911. and I said, amen. So there you go. This rifle that's supposed to be responsible just saved these people. Right. It happens every day. But who doesn't want you to hear about it? Yeah. The Democrats. They don't want to hear that over 1 million times. Do the math, divide it out. It's a lot of times a day this is happening. So that's good.
JC, real quick, Virginia just elected a governor that is not so gun friendly.
Right, and Bloomberg and the Gabby group, the Giffords, outspent the NRA over 3 times the amount of money in advertising and everything. So when this office goes into effect, he says he plans on bringing this Democratic folks in and start really laying out gun control similar to California. So this is it's a horrible thing. And speaking of horrible things, this was just November 7th, so just a couple days ago. Bloomberg is taking steps to enter the 2020 Democratic campaign. They filed paperwork in Alabama for him to run for president of the United States. So if you think things couldn't be worse, they could be really bad. So we have that on the table.
Paul, because I know you're used to getting a little intro to your time and stuff, and I'm not quite sure if we can swing that in. Do you have the intro music?
second.
All right.
You can't surprise her like that.
Well, I
Rick.
know. I text her like 2 seconds before I ask her what it does. So.
Well, we're losing all that time that I could be talking.
I know. So,
all right. So while we're waiting, I want to shout out to Jennifer and Samantha.
If you hear music's in your headset.
I don't hear anything. Okay. I don't have my hearing aids in.
Okay. So who are you giving a shout out to?
Jennifer and Samantha.
Are they listening?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Again, your fans outnumber all of our fans.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I think I hear it. That was that. Listen to this. You recognize this, Papa?
Martian hop in it.
Look at that. Didn't even play one word of it yet.
We have just discovered an important note from space. The Martians.
I could sing it too if you want me to.
Oh, no, please spare us.
All right. Thanks, Tim, for being on the flight. So, Papa, okay, now, hey, we're back.
Have you heard of Crescent Firearms Company?
You know what, JC? I think I have.
Yeah, well, but have you heard the Bacon Arms Company? No. Well, Crescent bought them out.
That's why you haven't heard of them.
Back in 1892, Crescent Firearms bought out Bacon Arms of Norwich, Kentucky.
Connecticut.
Well, yeah, I was looking at Connecticut and I said Kentucky. Anyways, they made shotguns. They made shotguns for the hardware stores. And, and I'm thinking maybe Sears, but you said, John,
Sears
you didn't
wasn't
find
on their list.
Sears wasn't on the list. But the one we have here, which is the gun of the week, is a double-barrel Coach gun that says Smithsonian on it. So that's all.
So
Smithsonian.
JC, you were saying at the time, so they would go to a hardware store. So you could, if you owned Joe's hardware store, you could have that put on the side of the shotgun.
And seriously, if you paid for the steel stamping, if you paid for that for free, they would stamp whatever you wanted in the gun. And they had over 90 different stores, and they were just making up names. The very same gun, and some of them were the long-range winner, the long-range marvel. I mean, they had these incredible names for these things. All the same gun made by the Crescent.
This one here,
though.
This one here was made somewhere between 1900 and 1925.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at the wood. I mean, the wood is remarkable.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the actual firearm is in excellent condition, and I know, John, you're going to probably buy this, aren't you?
Well, I have just a passion for short-barreled Coach guns. And it's just again, someone goes, "Oh, I wouldn't shoot this. It's made back then." I regularly shoot a shotgun made in 1911 with low brass, and it's a dream to shoot. And that's fluid steel. It's not a Damascus barrel.
Yeah.
And,
this is
just
very
a
shootable.
Short barrel double. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And
this came in
home defense gun.
This came in on trade.
Yep.
And it's got a great price on it. And if you come in before the show's ended, and you see me,
we'll
give you
a couple more minutes.
Oh, a couple more minutes. Okay. Well, that's all planned that way. We'll give you a heck of a discount on the price on the.
And it's a 12 gauge,
12 gauge,
double barrel, and it's just but it's a beautiful little gun.
It is.
I loved it. And the Smithsonian Institute was founded in I think 1892, if I'm not mistaken, or 1894. So it kind of carried that name, like but you could put anything on there.
That's
so,
neat. Very neat case coloring on it. Neat gun of the week, Pawpaw. When we come back from the break, I'll give you a minute to rant on some Pawpaw pet peeves, but then we got to get to Jonathan, who's a caller waiting on us too.
Okay, all right.
We're on target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Good eating, good times at TAT.
When the thermometer heads south in Columbus, it's time to head east to the TAT Ristorante di Famiglia for an amazing meal. Chef Jimmy and the crew invite you to the TAT for amazing Italian-American dining. 4 generations of the Carova family have rolled out the welcome mat to hungry folks for 90 years now, serving crispy salads, delicious pastas, tender steaks, seafood,
was he serious
homemade
thinking
pizzas,
that I was?
and wedding soup to die for. So come on, let the Carova family
serve your family. Call
you.
614-236-1392 for party trays and
I thought you'd
reservations
jump
for your
in.
company or family holiday party. The number again,
Yeah,
236-1392 at James and Livingston. The TAT,
We're
where the
just teasing.
Corova family makes you feel welcome like nobody else.
Yeah. Yep.
News, traffic, and weather for Columbus.
No, his
News
birthday was
Radio
yesterday, I think.
610 WTVN.
An early morning officer involved shooting leading to 24-year-old Charles Coleman's arrest. Akron police say a 15-year-old boy and another man were shot around 2 a.m. this morning off Summit Street.
Wow.
Both expected
You know
to be
what?
okay. Coleman tracked down
Don't
after
say
fleeing the
anything
scene.
else, and I'll
Another
talk to you about
lawsuit
that
filed
after
against
the
Ohio
show.
State over a former doctor accused of sexually
All right.
assaulting athletes for more than 20 years. 43 plaintiffs filed the latest suit naming the now deceased Richard Strauss. They include a man who says Strauss raped him as a teen, and another who says Strauss abused him during an athletic exam and then threatened him with a scalpel. Almost 300 men now claim Strauss assaulted them and that OSU officials failed to act. And a jaguar at the Akron Zoo euthanized after its breast cancer diagnosis. Officials say Noam's tumor wasn't going to get any better, and because of its size, surgery was not an option. The team decided to put Noam down after seeing her health decline. She was 18 years old. I'm Kyle Cornell.
Do you have a message, event, or product that everyone needs to know about? Then you have to check out iHeartAdBuilder.com. iHeartAdBuilder.com is the new online solution that gets your audio ad on the radio. All you have to do is answer a few questions online, and iHeartAdBuilder.com does the rest. You can even advertise on this station. If you've wanted to get your business on the radio and you don't have the time or need help from a professional, check out iHeartAdBuilder.com.
This Thanksgiving, take home a feast from the farm.
Spend less time making dinner and more time making memories when you order a Bob Evans Premium Farmhouse Feast to go with slow roasted turkey, hickory smoked ham, farm fresh sides, delicious pies, and more. Just heat, serve, and enjoy. Feeds up to 10 for just $124.99. Have your Farmhouse Feast delivered when you order online at bobevans.com.
Bob Evans, down on the farm.
Luby Hearing Services. Call 614-431-1010.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios. We're live in those studios. My father, Co-owner Phil, sits to my left. JC from the sales team sits to my right. Emily is the one who keeps us all together. We give her a hard time.
Mrs. Emily.
We love her,
right.
and we were giving her extra hard time today because we knew that she didn't have the ability to talk and defend herself. But believe me, I got it on the backside with the text.
But we love Emily.
We do, absolutely. So, guys, before we go any further, let's get to Jonathan. I know he's been on hold through the news. Jonathan, you're on with On Target. How are you today, sir?
Great, Eric. God bless you. Thank you for everything you do as a police officer.
Yep. Definitely.
I just wanted to say real quick, I think I talked to you about the DeWine's proposal. He was bringing up this background check for buyers.
Right. Yeah.
And, or for sellers, pardon me, or sellers and buyers. And what's happening now is I'm reading into this, the Democrats are likely to vote on DeWine's proposal because they're not getting everything they want, but there's some elements there that they really want. And one of the elements is this getting somebody who's a buyer to get the background check. Is that they have to go to a sheriff's department, whatever, they have to pay $10. It's good for 90 days, which makes no sense to me because they could commit a crime within the 90-day period. And this whole thing is engineered, and I can see this coming from a mile away, is to get rid of the gun shows. Because once they have this background check thing, and you should be able to sell buy firearms as a private individual in private settings or gun shows. And this has been a bee in the bonnet of the liberal Democrats, and they hate the gun show. They brought this up time and time again. There's no correlations between any kind of crime with gun shows or private gun sales, yet they've had this in their mind. They have to get rid of this. And this is in this bill. And now Democrats are using this as an argument that they're not getting everything they want in DeWine's bill, but they are going to be able to get this. And this is the one thing they're going to get. They're going to destroy the gun show. And that's going to be the end of it. I called one of the directors of the gun show. I can't remember which company. His name was Steve. Very, very pleasant person, well-knowledged. And he says it will absolutely be the end of the gun shows. They know this. They can see the writing on the wall. No one is saying anything about it. I don't think Buckeye Firearms has gotten involved with this. I don't see anything in the paper, people trying to defend the gun show. The gun show is, if you ever have gone to a gun show, it's the most harmless place in the world. Safety factor is unbelievable. They have the sheriff's department there. They have police in every building. They've got a vehicle that goes through the parking lot, running through and looking and scanning all the license plates of the vehicles there to see if there's any convicted felons that may be on the presence. It's probably safer than any gun shop, well, other than yours. Yours is probably the safest gun shop you can go into. God, law enforcement specialist. So all this is going on. The atmosphere of the gun show is it's nothing but people smiling, having fun, telling jokes. Nobody's shooting rifles off into the air. No one's shooting each other in the foot. Nothing's happening. It's like a big trade show. People are talking back and forth. It doesn't compete with gun stores because it's a different environment. It's like going to a trade show. You have people talking. It's nothing but enthusiasm and trying to support and further the gun enthusiasts' love of the industry and participating in that. And it's not the atmosphere that's been painted.
That's portrayed,
and to see this thing all of a sudden just go away because once again the liberals seize an opportunity to take something away, like the ducks in a pond with bread. They keep on picking and picking at the bread, taking pieces away until there's nothing left of anything.
You know what?
Okay, Jonathan, count to 10 and just take a deep breath.
He's not. Jonathan's not Pat. No. I know Jonathan.
We know Jonathan.
You know what, Jonathan? You're exactly right, and that is always the concern with these things, is that the slippery slope. On the surface, doesn't seem all that bad, but you're right. I mean, the problem is you can see the writing on the wall that if the left or the Democrats get into the governor's office at some point, that they're going to make that a mandate. And, something that has a potential is now a mandate. And like you said, they're gone. And it's so frustrating because you want to, as a safe, responsible gun owner, you want to be flexible and you want to say, okay, there's things we can do to affect change, but you're constantly on guard because of past history. And we talked about this this last week when I was at Kent State. I mean, that's the problem. The politicians, I mean, now they don't even hide it anymore. They come out and say, we're going to take your guns. And Jonathan, the stat that you were referencing, 0.08% of
firearms, felonies were committed with guns that were purchased at gun shows.
That's
0.08.
I mean, it was 0.08. That's not even a tenth.
Yeah. So
but you've hit the nail on the head. It's so hard to get behind this because you don't know, what the next step is, and they're not willing to look at the facts, and that's what we're doing today. It's a great lead into the facts. With any sensible, honest discussion about problem solving, you need to know the facts before you can identify what you're going to do, right? And that side, let's say it like it is, they are reluctant to look at the facts. Now, I will tell you this, guys, on a side note. I don't think I told you guys this. I think all these things when we're on air and maybe it's the right time, not the right time. I have someone coming in, and I'm not going to say who it is, coming in on Monday. We're closed Monday. And she is coming in, and she is a strong left-leaning anti-gun person who I've been in touch with over the years. And I said, hey, look, when you're ready to be educated and stuff, come on in. And she reached out to me to her credit about a month ago and says, I think I want to learn a little bit more. And she says, I'm not going to be a gun person. I'm like, that's okay. But she's going to come in. We're going to be closed. We're going to sit down, have an honest adult conversation, and I'm going to explain to her the pitfalls of universal background check, the pitfalls of all these, the assault weapons ban. And she was open enough to do it. And,
great.
I credit her for that.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. But
that's great.
So facts, JC.
Facts.
FBI Uniform Crime Report. We reference this quite a bit. It's not the end all, but it's something that is a telling fact-based.
How many pages is it? It's usually about 90 pages.
Oh, it is. It is.
I mean, it's just huge.
So let's talk about some of the ones that are the ones that we always look at and say, wow, can you believe this? So 2018 numbers just came out. Total deaths by firearms. And please,
murder victims.
Murder victims. Please don't think we're marginalizing this. We're sitting back and looking at this. We're looking at it from a data gathering and what can we do going forward and where should you place focus. This year, the total number of murders by firearms has gone down 10% or 7%.
Yeah, a little over 7%.
7%. The
I'm looking at it.
Oh, you're looking at it? I didn't. I was making sure you were on the same page.
I'm on the same page.
So it has gone down, and 14,123 people were murdered in 2018 by firearms. Horrible. Don't get me wrong. Horrible. Now, conversely, as you listen to politicians talk, they'll probably quote the number of about 38,000, somewhere in there, deaths at the hands of firearms. Well, 2/3 of that are suicides.
Yeah, more than 2/3 are suicides.
Not that it makes it any better, but they never qualify that number. They were quick to say 38,000 people die each year at the hands of firearms. They just don't tell you that 2/3 of that are by the owned person's doing.
They're self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted.
Right.
So we know that it's gone down. So that's a good thing. Here's where it gets interesting. The number of murders by handguns also went down, as you would expect. So, JC, how many do we have there? 6,000?
6,600, but it's down over 6% from last year. So it's a downward trend, and that's what we're talking about here. So it's gone down for the last 3 years.
So 6,000. So 6,600 people died at the hands of handguns in 2018. Shotguns, 235.
235.
235.
And that's down about 11% from the previous year. So, that's all shotguns. Right?
So shotguns, these long guns, right? Rifles. Now, John, you know the assault weapons that's the demise of society, and we are losing. I think I've heard millions of people each year.
Well, we did. A politician actually said 400,000 people a year, 400,000 people a year are dying from these horrible, these these assault weapons.
Right.
Well, but this figure includes all rifles.
All rifles.
Bolt action 22 up to whatever. Yes. And these are the things they want to disarm America, because how many people died last year from these horrible things?
297.
297.
And John,
which
that
was a drop of 24% from the previous year, almost a quarter less. Well, you think the United States of America, you think of all the hundreds of millions of guns. I mean, over 400 million guns out there. And what happened was, I'm sorry that these happened, but 297 people. And we talked about the CDC again last year, said that 1,500, this isn't me making it up, you can look up the records that just were released on November 18th of last year, over 1,500 people a day are dying from second-hand smoke. Not smokers, a day. This is their figure, and you can look up on the CDC's website. That shocked me.
297. That's incredible. So here's my favorite, and if you listen to the show for any length of period, you've probably heard this once or twice, but it's worth stating again now that the numbers are out. Same time period. So remember, we're at 10,265 for all firearms deaths in 2018. 10,000. In that same year, 1,515 people died by knives, with knives. So quite a few. Quite a few and stuff.
1,500.
Okay. Blunt objects, baseball bats, any blunt objects, 443. So tragic. Tragic and stuff. My favorite, though. Hands, fist, and feet.
Yep.
Bar fight. You got bar fights. 672 people died in 2018 by hands, fists, and feet. That is now over twice as many that died by rifles that year.
All rifles.
All rifles. All rifles. This isn't made up, folks. This isn't a 1 year anomaly. So if you look at the 10-year average, the 10-year average of people dying by rifles, 322. 10-year average. The 10-year average by hands, fists, and feet, 711.
Again,
so
over twice as much.
Again, it's not to minimize those deaths. Horrible, tragic. You can't. That can't go without saying. But if we're trying to affect change, the politicians and the media are so far off base, it's not even funny. And especially when you start looking at some of the other things in society, In society, how many here, JC? We have deaths attributed to speeding. We average 10,000 deaths a year from people speeding. So think about it. We're making cars to go above the speed limit. That is a set law. What are we doing to our kids? Same argument.
And the one statistic that we don't have, because I don't think they've figured out a way to do this yet, is the number of kids that are killed or injured while using cell phones.
Yes.
I
They're
see it
starting
all the
to
time when
capture
the
that
school,
now.
when
Yes.
high school gets out, I'm sitting there and kids are going through the red lights and stuff with their phone on their ear or texting while they're trying to drive. I'm hoping that they start capturing that somehow. So
No, I was just going to say, if a person gets into an accident after he's been drinking and driving, gets into an accident and gets killed, whose fault is it? It's got to be the car's fault. The car's fault.
Right.
Because, the same thing with the gun.
Logic.
The same thing with the gun.
Right.
If a person kills somebody with a gun, then it's a gun's fault, right? It's not the person pulling the trigger. And you can apply that if you're taking a math test, and if you flunk the test, it's the pencil's fault.
I've seen
mark
that.
the wrong. That actually happened to me. So
I figured it did.
Yeah.
JC, I did look at my stack of stats. There is.
Say that real fast, sir.
Stack of stats.
Stack of facts.
Get ready, M, for the dump button there. 2017, I do have stats, actually, for 16 and 17 from the National Institute of Safety. Over 3,000 people die each year with distracted driving.
Distracted driving.
So 3,000. So,
yeah.
Guys, let's go to a break. When we come back, we'll continue to talk stats. We might even get people in there, maybe a little time for your pet peeves.
It took me half an hour to get these firearms out here.
I was going to say, what are those?
We're on target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Around 270, 315, 70, 71, and everywhere in between. Traffic you can trust every 10 minutes on the 10s. Mornings and afternoons. Columbus's News Radio, 610 WTVN.
Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 20% off virtually everything. Yes, it's happening next weekend, November 15th through 17th. All rings, all earrings, all pendants, all bracelets, all on sale. This is the biggest and last sale of the year. The one where they break all the rules. The selection is like double the norm, and designers are here with their entire lines, all at the absolute lowest prices of the year, plus special financing. Shop early for Christmas and save. It's November 15th, 16th, and 17th, only at Diamonds Direct
On Polaris Parkway.
Whether you're looking for a quality Medicaid plan or you're enrolling for the first time, choose one that helps you feel good from Molina Healthcare. Molina does this cool thing called paying attention to you and what you need. Molina makes you feel important, and that feels good. Plus, you get doctor visits, dental and vision care, transportation with Lyft, virtual care, and prescriptions, all at no cost. Perfect benefits for families. So choose or switch to Molina. Go to yourmolina.com/OH or call 877-515-0880.
Getting cold feet? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Your ABC6 first warning weather for today. A mix of sun and clouds, dry and chilly for the Ohio State game, which is going on right now. High of 44. For tonight, a few clouds. Frigid tonight, low of 34. For Sunday, mostly summer, sunny and warmer, high of 53. A great day to go hunting, Paw, I think. It's currently 35 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Hey, it's Joe Jewin and Jack DeVos from Over the Line. We take a look back at the lighthearted pop culture stories that may have slipped through the cracks this week. Join us tomorrow night from 7 to 9 on News Radio 610 WTVN.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric. Joined today in the LAPD studios with my father, co-owner Phil. He sits there to my left. JC is to my right. He is part of our sales team. Guys, Monday, too, we should probably mention Veterans Day. And
we certainly should. I mean, we talk, everything we're talking about has to do with our freedoms, and what the Constitution, what the amendments were, the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, and the number of people that have died for this country. These veterans, unless you've been in, unless you've served, you don't realize the sacrifices that some of these folks made. And we certainly honor our veterans and our first responders and everything. But this is important. And it happens to be on the 11th this year, as far as our holiday. Actually, which is always on the 11th. But that was that's the day that the World War I ended. The war to end all wars.
Yep.
So November 11th at 11 o'clock.
Yep.
We've kept that tradition, but really honor your veterans out there. Give them a thanks for the service that they provided.
Yep. Pawpaw, I'm going to honor you and giving you a couple minutes for
Pawpaw's
pet peeve. You take whatever you want.
I don't know what it is. All right. all these firearms here on the counter are semi-automatics.
You got 5 of them out there?
I don't know. There's
okay,
a couple of them
6,
back here
7,
too.
8?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the question, I was raised on all steel weapons. All steel, and Smith & Wesson, came out. They had their older models are steel,
semi-automatics.
Semi-automatics. I loved them. All right. Now this is not rehearsed. All right. This is not rehearsed.
This is off the cuff.
We can actually guess that.
No, I want to pass this to you and let the slide go down. Do the slide release. Yeah. All right. Did you have a little bit of problem with that, Eric?
I had a little bit of problem with that.
Okay. Here. These have all been checked, and the slides are all locked back. Yep. Pretty tough, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty tough.
Yep.
And then check this older Smith & Wesson steel one. Try that one. Oh, look how easy that was.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because the slide release here's another one. All steel.
Oh, look at that slide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I mean, right.
Yeah.
All right. If you have to use 2 hands to bring the slide forward to capture a round and put it in the chamber, it's who's designing these firearms? If an officer or anybody gets one of their hands or arms injured, you're not going to have 2 hands to make the slide go forward. And it's so
do you see that as a trend of just any of these newer guns, or you see a distinction between the polymer and the?
It's unfortunately that brings me to the other one: steel versus polymer. Okay, polymer. That seems to be the craze. Glock came out 1980s or so, and Glock, to my knowledge, never came out with an all steel gun, polymer. And to me, looks for a firearm is important, but also being durable. Now, they put the polymers through all kinds of tests and everything. And, Glock makes a fine weapon. But what was the big thing I didn't like about Glocks? They're about as wide as like a 2x4. There's no thought around style or anything else. And then people fell in love with this stuff. People have come into the store and know nothing about firearms, but they know they want to buy a Glock. Come on.
Right.
Watching too much television.
You know what? It's kind of a valid point you bring up. We had an officer from NYPD in here the other night, and we got to talking. And he had been on 10 years, so he's still a fairly young guy. And his issued firearm is a 5946, so the double action version, all steel, of the 5906. And he says that, what they see is that the Glocks, because that's the choice they could go to, go, and that a lot of these guys, a lot of these newer guys don't clean their guns, they don't keep them up, and that they had to, the steel guns, they had to keep a little oil on them, and they had to keep them up. So from a standpoint of these departments, these guys, don't want to maintain it. They have a better, chance going down the road. But you're right, though. There's no character to it.
A steel firearm will have less rise.
Exactly.
Okay. And they're more accurate than a polymer gun. Now, I'm not done. That I have always said that a 1911 it has no place in law enforcement. All right. You don't carry it locked and cocked. People do. That's an option.
Right.
That's an option. John M. Browning, never intended that firearm to be carried locked and cocked.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, it wasn't until the one he introduced to the for the trials did not have a manual safety on it. He said that
the
firing
first one,
pin was so short. Yeah, so he said, I didn't design it like that. He said, even if you dropped it, there's not enough momentum to overcome the firing pin spring. But the military insisted on it, so you had to put in a manual safety when it was.
What about the grip safety, which I said, why do they have a grip safety? Why do you think they have a grip safety, Eric?
Because there's such of a short...
if they dropped the gun,
it
wouldn't go off.
Yeah. Military.
And so, all these young police officers and the military thinks it's real fancy to have a cocked and locked gun and everything. come on, you know.
It's funny because, to your point, too, and I know we're getting up against the break here, is that we had one of those 5946s. Actually, it's right here. There was double action only, and I always tease the guys on the range. I'll go, hey, guys, try this trigger out, because that's what they're always passing around guns, right? And I'm like, hey, tell me what you think about the trigger reset. And they go, there's no trigger reset. There's no trigger reset? And I'm like, yeah, because real men didn't need a trigger reset. You know?
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
And of course, we're just coursing and stuff. But
Glock makes a well.
It's reliable. It's not
reliable,
aesthetic, but it works. And it's
so
reliable.
the 6 hour,
Yeah.
you know, we have one of those SIGs in there.
And the M&P.
Yeah, and the M&P, you know, Smith & Wesson finally succumbed to the polymer, the plastic guns,
Well, they're cheaper, and except for heat, they seem to be pretty durable.
Heat, and you can use brake fluid or something on them. They melt.
Well, that's probably not good.
Yeah, if you're going to clean your barrels with that, just separate that sliding barrel. Keep that.
For more of Pawpaw's Pet Peeves, stop by the store. We're at 999 Bethel Road. Next week, guys, we're going to have the professor on with us. He's a collegiate professor who's a gun guy. And you don't see that too often. He's going to tell us about the youth today and what he's seeing when they come into his classroom. Thanks for spending the last hour with us. Certainly let us know if you have any questions, if we can help you with anything. We're here at 999 Bethel Road. Have a great week. Bucks look to be up 21-0, I think, at this point.
We'll take that.
Yep.
All right.
Have a good week.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, if you are injured because of medical malpractice, call 1-800-ELK Ohio. News Radio 610 WTVN.
On Veterans Day, our nation dedicates time to honor the men and women who have worn the uniform of our country.
I told you that if you see me before the show ended.
Are you there, Em?
Yes.
Did we make it?
Yes.
Hey, we've never had the dump button hit.
Don't jinx it.
All right.
I mean, it's like, I mean, I always hit it when I have to, and I know it works, but it's always that fear of it not.
What do you hit it on, collars then?
I hit it on collars. I've hit it on the host before.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How do you know what? Is it certain words, or, I mean, is it a judgment call?
There's certain words, like obviously the F-bomb.
Right.
The S word.
But can you say somebody is an A?
Yeah, that's what's weird. You can't say a-hole, but you can say A.
Really?
Like,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, it's so weird. Don't say it, though.
Well, Tess, I'm going to say, oh, Emily's going to the restroom. Hey, da-da-da.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but your breaks aren't long enough for me to go during those.
I know it, especially lately. Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully we get this figured out.
I know. I'm going to call Spectrum this week. The good thing now is we spent a ton of money. We're on a dedicated fiber line. I mean, it is guaranteed uptime. It is, they monitor it and everything else. So my gut, not knowing anything, I wonder if it's router related to us here.
It might be. We had to get a new router at home.
Really? But the thing that's goofy is, why is it fine up until noon?
I'm wondering if it's when you all turn on.
But there's nothing we turn on differently at noon.
Oh.
I mean, when Dad checks in with you at 11, there's nothing additional that gets put on.
That's so weird.
So I wonder, at one point, Greg said that there was stuff that they have stuff on timers, that stuff drops in this. I wonder if there's something going on I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the game.
Do you think Facebook Live has anything to do with it?
It shouldn't.
I don't think so. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, no. I mean, it shouldn't. I mean, we shouldn't. I mean, nothing should interfere with it now.
I have no
So
idea.
I know. So we'll nose around with them. Hopefully, they have some stats on that we can look at and see.
Why is it you have to restart twice?
I know, and it doesn't restart as quick as it did without fiber.
Yeah.
The fiber came back quicker. This one, it takes a couple minutes to come back. And the bad thing is, when I restart it, it brings down all the cash registers and everything else.
Oh yeah.
So